right, welcome everybody to another edition of Chasing Ghosts. This is the video series where I look at some of those hard to find, impossible to find books, those things you just never see at your shops and rarely see even at conventions and shows, just tough books to find. And just kind of cover them, talk about why they're hard to find, like what's going on with them, what's important about them, where do they come from, and maybe what the print run is a little bit. How many are out there as best that we could figure out. Hopefully you're enjoying that as well as the other content here on the channel. If you are, please like, subscribe, hit that alert button so you're not missing any of the content as it drops, which I'm trying to make sure it goes out daily at this point, as best that I can. I've got another idea for another show that I'm going to premiere tomorrow on Wednesday, earlier in the day, ahead of the live show that I'm going to do with Marco Wednesday night. So if you're free, please check out the totally awesome, coolest show ever with me and Marco at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday here on my channel. We're going to talk some animated X-Men stuff. Hopefully you guys are into that. But earlier in the day, I was kicking around the idea, and I have a new video series that I'm going to try out and see, see what people think of it. It's basically, I don't want to say similar to this, but it's Forgotten Firsts. Just some of those first appearances that are either very forgotten about, basically. Just people don't think about them. Like, yeah, it's first appearance. Characters aren't huge. We're not talking about like Young Avengers 1 or some huge key book to go find. Just fun little tidbits, things you should just keep in mind, because when you're digging in those boxes, it's always fun to find a nice little first appearance that may still be very cheap, but hey, who knows? Down the line, you never know what could get hot. So just things to be aware of, and just first appearances of characters that you might have forgotten about, or you might not have known in the first place. Just fun little things. I'm just trying to have fun and talk about comics here with you guys. Hopefully you're enjoying it and enjoying the channel. If you are, again, tell some friends. Let's get some more subscribers. Let's get over 700 so I can give some more free books away, because I do got some books to give away, and we're getting close. We're getting a little bit closer to 700. I think we're going to be hitting 666 pretty soon, and that I might have to do something special for that too. I don't know. Kicking around a lot of weird ideas. I don't know. My channel, I'll do what I want, so I'll just give away stuff as often as I see fit. That being said, just hang on for a second, and I'll be right back to talk about this week's ghosts. Okay, so let's see what books I have for you guys this week. I decided to go back to more of the random sampling of just books that I have on my to-do list that I just felt like talking about, as opposed to doing the themed angle that I did with the He-Man video last week, where they're all He-Man Masters of the Universe books. I don't know how you guys received that, what you guys prefer. Please let me know in the comments if you'd rather see them themed. You'd rather see a grouping of books that all have a similar thread that runs throughout them. I can definitely do that. I can definitely group these up if that's what you want. Or if you prefer it like this, where it's just random books. I'm just going to throw out some random topics, random comics for you to pay attention to. So, going to the randomness. The first book that I have for you guys this week actually was a viewer suggestion, and this is Hellboy, The Fury #3, and this is an incentive cover. I didn't know it was an incentive cover at first, but it's kind of weird. When I was reading up a little bit on it, there was something about a restriction. We had to order, at least 20 copies to order this book, and this was not a heavily printed book. So it didn't sound like it was like the normal incentives, like a Marvel incentive, like, well, okay, every 25 or whatever it might be. This just read as something that was more and more difficult to get, and this book was hot when it first came out, with an estimated print run of a little over 19,000 copies. I mean, we don't know exactly how many copies are out there, because again, this was impossible to find when this book came out. I think it was a couple $100 raw at the jump, and now, this book is still tough to find. At best, doing that math, you're still looking at less than 1,000 copies if the maximum amount could have been ordered, which I don't think that they were, considering the rarity or the perceived rarity that I find with this book, because I'm not seeing it. You look in the census, there are only 46 copies of this thing total throughout the years this book has been out. 798s, 1896s, and 1194s. So it's a good number of the high ends and a few randoms down below that. 46 is still a pretty low number for the CGC census for a book that can command, you know, some decent dollars if you have one. Recent example, this past Sunday night, there was an auction that ended, and one just sold for $610 for a 9.4. So this is one of those 9.4s that sold, and 8 bids, $610 is no cheap feat. And that was it. That was the only copy that was out there, and now that's the one that has been sold, but there's no copies available right now. Like, this is the one that was up, and now that one's gone. Who knows if another one's going to come to market? But that is definitely a tough book to find. And if you have one, I'd love to see it. So please tag me on Instagram if you got one. This Hellboy, the Fury Virgin, I think it was you had to order 20 copies of that issue 3 to get this thing, or something like that. If I'm remembering what I read correctly. But still, awesome Virgin Magnolia cover. Definitely pretty cool. And yeah, I think this was the death of Hellboy as well, so it's kind of a significant book, and the variant as well. Definitely hard to find, and those Hellboy collectors are rabid. They're much like many of the groups of collectors that like to collect certain things. Hellboy collectors are just as loyal, and they want everything that they can get their hands on. So that's a tough book to find. Definitely tough to find. Now, my next one is another book that is kind of interesting. I wish I had one of these. This is Black Hammer #1. This is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I think there's only 500, I believe, was the print run of how many were available on this thing. And it's definitely not plentiful. Like, it's not something you see all the time. Definitely a cool cover. I dig it. Like I said, I wish I had one of these because I do like Black Hammer, and they may be doing something eventually. Everybody's loving Sweet Tooth. I still have to watch it. So Jeff Lemire's properties are a hit right now. So who knows what they might do next? Black Hammer might be a bit of a tough thing to adapt. Just, you know, superheroes. It could just be a bit. I can't think of the word. This is definitely a tough book to find. With those 500 copies, there are 128 in the census. So a good number of the ones that were available have been graded. 95. 9.8s and 21 9.6s. So that's a good chunk of that print run has already been graded, found, and slabbed. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on for if you're looking for one of these. And the prices are probably going to go up as more rumors begin to persist over what Jeff Lemire property is going to be adapted next, because this is a possibility. It definitely is a possibility. That being said, just an example of what we got out there. If you're looking for one, there's a 9.6 that you can get for $350. Might not be too bad. I mean, realistically, you look at that price, considering how many copies there are and what's available. 32 watchers, so there's a lot of people paying attention to this. A lot of people definitely paying attention. And if you want to look at what's sold, there a 9.8 sold. Best offer on a $900 ask. So we can only speculate on how much they actually accepted, but it's still probably in that $700 to $800 range, if I were to guess. I know there are ways to go and check it, but I didn't bother to go and dig that deep into this before doing this video, because that's really semantics. It's really that unimportant at this stage of the game. This isn't all about the value of these books. The value is just a byproduct of the rarity that we're talking about here, how hard these things are to find, that generally causes higher prices and higher values, because more people want it, less supply, the demand goes up, prices go up. Very basic stuff, but still definitely a really cool book, and one that I wish that I had. And if you got one, again, tag me. I'd love to see it. Love to see it. And I don't know, maybe I'll find one of these, or maybe I'll make a play on that 9.6 and just get one of these into my collection. I don't know. If one of you guys beats me to it and you're the one who buys it, you let me know that you're the one who bought that 9.6 for $350. That's on eBay right now. I'd just be curious. I think it'd be kind of funny. That being said, what do I got for you next? Next, I got another convention exclusive, and this is the Once and Future #1, the New York Comic-Con exclusive. This is the Silver Crown version. This is definitely a tough book. I believe there weren't many of these made or handed out. I think there was also a San Diego version, which has a gold crown, which was a little bit more, I don't want to say plentiful, but if I remember correctly, I think there was 500 or so possibly of the gold crown at SDCC. And then by the time they got around to New York, which was, again, months later, so I think this is technically like a fourth print or a later printing of this book. It's not a first of this Once and Future #1. But I think the print run on the Silver Crown is only about 100. I know, it's a later printing. That makes the collectability of it, I guess, a little bit tougher to stomach for a lot of people out there, because this thing also went to 8 prints, I believe, in the regular version. So it's like a middle of the road printing, but it's a limited convention exclusive. There's only 100. But this thing ain't easy. There's a few copies out there, but I mean, a good 20% of them have been graded already. If there were 100, 20 are in the census, 16 9/8 and 4 9/6s, and that's not too bad considering that black cover. But knowing that there was only 100, people who did get these probably took very good care of them when they received them at New York Comic Con, because I believe Once and Future was already had some heat by the time New York Comic Con hit. And when you figure the other one came out in July at San Diego, the book had a few issues in, and there was some buzz around it. So people were definitely looking for that book and taking care of it. Now, there's a copy out there right now, a 9/8, and the ask is $10,000. Yes, $10,000. I don't think that they're going to get that, but hey, what do I know? I could be wrong. I mean, throw it out there. You can ask whatever you want for online. That's what you want to sell it for. That's what you sell it for. Good luck to you, honestly. Because again, while they have it 1 of 11, I think we saw there's 16 of them now in 9/8. So they might have to update the listing a little bit, which isn't going to help the cause to getting 10K. But that being said, it is a tough book. There's only 100, and getting a 9/8 and that all black cover is still going to be a tough ask. Not everybody's going to get it. And if you look, you can still kind of sneak one of these. I don't want to say sneak, but when you compare that ask with the actual sale, I mean, 3 bids, $314 for a 1 of 100. That's not too bad. Coming from Costa Rica, that's kind of interesting. I guess they went to New York and are now selling their book. Whatever the case, that could be an interesting gamble if you can find one for that kind of price point, like $300. You grade it, because while 10K may be a tall ask, there's no reason why that's not a $1,000 sale easy. I don't know. It's just in my mind. Not that I'm saying that's what I would pay or that's what I'd buy one for. Just throwing numbers out as they just kind of hit me. But definitely a cool cover. I dig this cover, and this is an interesting series in that I think a lot of people have forgotten about it, and it's been overshadowed immensely by Something Is Killing the Children. They both came out around the same time, and this one doesn't have the same talk or same heat around it that Something Is Killing the Children has. But I think this is still a fun property. And when we start talking about the Green Knights and the Green Knight movie, there's some interest in the character of the Green Knight, even though it's not solely a comic book character. I don't know. Definitely interesting title, something to pay attention to, and definitely a good book to have if you have it, and definitely one to keep an eye out for if you can get one for a decent price, I would think. That's going to leave us with one more book. And given that I'm filming this on Sunday night, and tonight it's premiere of season 5 of Rick and Morty. You can see by my shirt, by my glass, and I got the little ship, right here, little matchbox next to my slab. Yeah, this is the Rick and Morty #1, the 1 in 50, the Justin Roiland cover. Yeah, I know the art's not great. It is what it is. It's the writer. This is his art. This is how he drew the characters. This is also a pretty good representation of how the animation is. And like it or not, I dig it. I think it's fun, and I think it's a great show. Personally, I have a lot of fun watching it, and I'm looking forward to watching the new season as soon as I'm done filming all these videos for myself here. That said, let's talk about this book and not about my television viewing habits. This book had an estimated run of about 17,000, 17,600, and that would put this 1 in 50 at only about 352 copies max. That's not a whole lot, but there are a good chunk out there. There's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but anytime I see something like half dozen, 6 to 10 copies available, it's tough to call it a ghost at that point, because there's a lot of copies you can buy if you really want to buy them. It's just a pricey book at that point. So I'd consider this maybe more of a hard to find than an actual ghost, but we'll get to that. So 352 max. We got 158 already in the census. 57 9/8s, 46 9/6s, 32 9/4s. A lot of people submitting this book. I think over the years, as Rick and Morty got popular and more popular, and with that Good Morty book and a lot of the weird variants, I think there was that Nerd Block or something. There was another like weird pocket like you stole it. There's a lot of weird variants that got hot over the years, and this was one of them. This was one a lot of people were hunting for and wanted. So a lot of them got submitted. The ones that did get found. But this book can be had if you want to buy it. 9/6, $1,500. Yeah, it's a 1 in 50 of a book that's not easy to find. Even the regular one is not easy to find, let alone this. I used to have a good run of Rick and Morty, but I sold them a while ago because I just didn't feel the need to have the comics. As much as I love the show, I didn't feel the need to have the comics, and having the comics obligated me to keep buying the comics, and I just really wasn't into the comic collecting. I love the show, not as much the comic. It just does. It's a different form of entertainment for me. Like, this stuff isn't as amusing reading it as it is watching it with the voices. Anyway, that said, $1,500, 30 watchers. So there's a lot of people still paying attention. A lot of people still paying attention. Maybe it's because this, the series is coming back, and that's why interest is back. But just something to note. Definitely something to note. So some of those copies that are out there might start clearing up soon if people start buying them. And you can see the 9/8 of this book. They do pretty well. I mean, both of these were $2,500 asks. They accepted best offers, but I still got to think they got 2K plus on their offers. Again, didn't check it to be sure, but that's just my guess. They still probably got a decent return for these books. So definitely something to keep an eye out for, and definitely an interesting book, and probably one of the top, Rick and Morty books to have. I don't know if it's the top book to have, but it's definitely one of the tougher ones with only 350 or so copies available. So definitely something to look for if you can find one, at a price, personally. But I still kind of consider it hard to find because there are a lot of copies available right now. Again, a lot in comparison to some of these other ones that there are no copies of, and only one copy for has sold in the last couple of months. It's just a different animal. So this one I would say is probably only hard to find. While I'll still probably consider the other three in that ghost category. They're all still very tough, and we're talking 100, 500, and an unknown print run. So I'd say all three of the other ones are definitely ghosts in my book. So hunt them at your pleasure. Good luck if you do. Hopefully you find them. If you have them, again, share them. I'd love to see them. Tag me on Instagram. Definitely like to see your hard to find, impossible to find books. And if you got any books that you'd like to see, throw them out as suggestions. As you see, I'll throw a viewer suggestion in there every now and again. I still have a huge list of my own to get through, but I'll throw in your guys' recommendations and your suggestions as well if I feel they fit our category and something I feel like talking about. So again, please like, subscribe, tell a friend. Let's get some more subs to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.